Dr. Mary had always been a skilled surgeon, but as she stood in the operating room, her hands were shaking with fear. She had never encountered a case like this before, and she knew that one wrong move could have disastrous consequences. The patient on the table was a young woman, her skin pale and clammy as she lay unconscious under the bright lights. But it was not her condition that had Dr. Mary so on edge. It was the strange symbols etched into her skin, and the aura of evil that seemed to surround her. As Dr. Mary began the surgery, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching her. She could feel eyes on her, studying her every move. And as she made the first incision, she heard a faint whisper in the back of her mind. "You should not have come here, Dr. Mary. You should have stayed away." Dr. Mary's hands froze, her heart racing as she tried to shake off the voice. But it was too late. The patient's eyes snapped open, and she let out a blood-curdling scream. Dr. Mary tried to back away, but the patient's hands shot out, gripping her tightly. And as the patient's eyes burned into hers, Dr. Mary knew she was in grave danger. The patient's body began to convulse, her skin writhing and twisting as the symbols on her skin pulsed with an otherworldly light. And as the room filled with an unearthly shriek, Dr. Mary knew that she was no longer alone in the operating room. She could feel the presence of something ancient and malevolent, something that had been trapped inside the patient's body and was now reaching out to claim its freedom. Dr. Mary tried to run, but she was trapped in the patient's grasp. And as the patient's body contorted and twisted, Dr. Mary realized with horror that she was being dragged into the darkness. She could feel the icy grip of death closing in, and as the last vestiges of light faded from her eyes, she knew that she would never escape the horrors of the operating room.